So it's all yours. Take it away.
Okay. All right. Let me get my screen shared out here. Let's see. This one, and there we go. All right. And let me move some things around. I got a bunch of screens in front of me. All right. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to come stop by my talk today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Helmus. We're going to talk a little bit more about me here in a second. But for those of you that do know me, I did this talk back at DEF CON in the Red Team Village back in August. This is actually a amended version of the talk, just from taking questions and answers from the previous one and applying it to this one. I've also taken out some of the material that was kind of redundant in the old presentation, so it's a lot more concise in this one. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just get to it, huh? So here's going to be the agenda for today. So we're going to go through all these bullet points, and I don't want to mention everyone because we do have a limited amount of time, so I can sit here and talk about these bullet points all day. However, just to give a brief introduction, just going to give a brief introduction of myself, let you see some of the things that I've done over the course of my career and how it's been at different ends of the spectrum. We're going to talk about how you develop a student mindset, not an academic mindset, a student mindset. Talk about some ways of how we can become a penetration tester, look at degrees and certifications, which is a big thing in this area. Cost analysis, how much we got to spend. Then we're going to look at some actual roadmap diagrams that I put together, and we're going to look at how you can go from being a help desk specialist to a penetration tester, or even just a student, because those are the two more common tracks that I see. Then we're going to talk about staying curious, and there's a common question that I wanted to answer at the end. So let's go ahead and get going. So who am I? My name is John Helmus. I'm currently a penetration tester and an adjunct professor. However, I wasn't always that. I actually used to be a naval engineer and a help desk specialist myself, and I've gone through the ranks over the past about 6 years after my military career. My military career ended in 2014. So now I've been going, from being a help desk guy to what I'm doing now. I'm also monitoring the Discord channel, just so you know. So if I peek over and I start answering questions, just so you know, that's it. So somebody said, am I holding a chicken? Yes, that is one of my chickens. I have a small farm outside of Seattle where we have alpacas, which you'll actually see in a slide or two. We have goats, a pig, ducks, chickens, the whole 9 yards. So let's get going with that, huh? So, but to give brevity to what's on the slide right now, as you can see, I've had a lot of different experiences that have led me into pen testing. So what I want to project onto you is to let you know that, there's a ton of different avenues that you can use to get into pen testing, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. You can do a lot of everything. And we're going to start to notice that there's going to be a common theme where you have to kind of just be curious about everything. It's not just about hacking or a certain technology. It's just kind of being curious about any kind of technology that you want to get your hands dirty with. So these are some of the current things I'm doing. I am a penetration tester, red teamer at Nordstrom headquarters up here in Seattle, Washington. I'm also an adjunct professor at City University of Seattle and National University. I teach online courses for both of the schools that range from basic cybersecurity, network and wireless security, cyber warfare. At National, I actually teach red teaming and penetration testing. So if you're interested in getting a master's degree in pen testing, look them up and you'll probably have me as a professor. So, and then I'm also a PhD candidate at the Dakota State University. I'm currently in the PhD of Cyber Ops program. It's a pretty fun program so far. I just started it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And as you can see here at the bottom right, that is another asset of my life where I actually have a small mini farm. We have alpacas, we have goats, we have pigs, we have chickens, ducks, the whole 9 yards, right? So that's what I like to do in my free time because it's something that actually gets me outside and away from the computer. So it's one of those nice things that physically puts me away from everything. So, and just so you know, if I look over to the side, again, just monitoring the Discord chat. No moose, no. Male mooses are pretty aggressive from what I've heard. So let's really talk about what we're here to talk about, because we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about how we can learn to become a pen tester. So penetration testing, also known as pen testing or a pen test, ethical hacking, keyword is ethical there, right? Is an authorized, other keyword is authorized, simulated attack on a computer system to perform and evaluate the security of that system. So we're looking at the security posture of a system through actually exploiting vulnerabilities and assessing the impact and severity on those vulnerabilities to the organization. However, while you might think it's just technical vulnerabilities, we look at more than just technical vulnerabilities. We look at people, we look at processes, we even challenge culture in an organization, right? Because culture is something that is hard to make, to pivot. So it's really crucial that you understand that even changing culture is part of being a penetration tester, where you actually have to look and see if there's something that's toxic within an organization that you actually have to change. Otherwise, the company may start losing revenue. All right, so it's more than just hacking, right? It's a lot of research, a lot of writing, a lot of reading. I always like to say that, it's about 70% writing, reading, reporting, and about 30% technical. So, a lot of writing and reading and research goes and takes place before the pen test, during the pen test, and after the pen test. And there is a lot of technical portions where you're hands-on keyboard. However, think about it as if you're hands-on keyboard and you actually find a vulnerability on a system, you then have to turn around and actually do research on that vulnerability, because you want to be concise and precise with your attack methods so that you can illustrate that later to the client or your organization, whoever you're working for. So it's crucial that you're able to perform not just good technical skills, but also proper cyber research and illustrating what you find. And then I always like to put this, the reality check is it's about people and processes, right? We're looking at the technology that is intertwined with business people, the people of a business and the processes of that business, right? So we're looking at all the technology stacks and the culture and the people, the processes, all the good stuff, right? And it says technical skills play a major role. They do. Technical skills are is a very crucial role because it plays a huge part in pen testing. It's just not the most utilized one because it's about people, right? And making an organization better than it was before. So you have to have soft skills that play a vital role in doing so. So you have to concurrently be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. So that means you have to be able to do the technical stuff while you're also able to illustrate it properly. And what I mean by properly is more professionally, where you're able to actually take low-level technology findings, talk, jargon, whatever you want to call it, and display it at a level that everyone can understand it, because otherwise it can make people stray away from understanding it, and they might just completely forget about whatever you're talking about. So the reality of pen testing is banging your head against a wall and looking for systems that are typically locked down. I always like to say that pen testers are just highly technical quality assurance engineers, and I'm sure there's some people on the other side of the screen that don't agree with that, but that's just my opinion. So, and penetration testing is 70% report writing and research, and probably only about 30% hands-on. That's just, from my own research and being in the field, it's just so much research and reporting and writing, and very little, and a lot of hands-on, but the hands-on portion makes up the smaller portion of pen testing. And then a big reason why we have pen testing, besides wanting to know what your security posture is, and having to, actually have a simulated attack executed on your organization so that it can illustrate your security posture before the bad guys actually get in, is a big thing. However, the other big reason is compliance, right? It's being regulated. Companies are now regulated to have their organizations ethically hacked. I'll say that again, organizations are being regulated to have their companies ethically hacked at least once to twice a year. So what does that mean? That means there's job opportunities because it has to be done, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about their certifications that can get you so that you can be compliance pen test ready, right? Because in order to be a pen tester to do compliance-based pen testing, you have to have those certs. There's no whats or buts about it. You got to do it. So, becoming a pen tester. It looks like we're going to start to make our journey down the rabbit hole. As we do this, let's make sure we stay open-minded and stay curious. So, down the rabbit hole we go. All right, so the student mindset, not an academic mindset. Will an academic mindset help you? Of course, but a lot of other things will help you too. So developing a student mindset is going to help you engage yourself, be humble with yourself to continuously learn and know what you don't know. Right, so that goes with continuous learning. Staying out of your comfort zone. There's a book that I really enjoyed a couple years ago called Peak Performance. Don't know who wrote it. I'll have to look it up and I can put it in the Discord chat here in a bit after the talk. But there's a book called Peak Performance where it actually talks about maintaining just slightly out of your comfort zone and then taking breaks so that you're able to expand your comfort zone, right? Because if you're here and then you expand a little bit out and then you rest, you might go only like halfway back and then you actually have a new comfort zone. You're able to take on more. It also teaches you that, you know, you can continuously learn. It gets you conditioned for that. Being humble is a big issue in this career field. So I've noticed, and there's the next slide kind of mentions a little bit about that. But we have to be humble and know that we don't know everything. And by we, I mean pen testers and security researchers and just offensive security professionals in general. We don't know everything. We know a little bit about the things that we're targeting, right? And then we might have a subject that we have mastered, but we don't know everything. So be humble, stay grounded, and ensure that you portray that to anyone that you interact with. Continuous goals. This is where you set continuous, realistic goals for yourself. Don't set something crazy within a 6-month span, because if you burn out in the time before that, you're probably not going to want to do it. And I speak that from experience many, many times, and just from observing it from other people. Take your time. This is a career field that is not going anywhere, and you can, you know, the sky is the limit, but the sky isn't going anywhere. So just set continuous goals throughout your career. Seek mentors. Find people that know more than you that are willing to help. Key word is willing to help. You don't want to find some jerk who's not going to help you because they want to hold the keys to the kingdom of their information and knowledge. Find people that are going to help you and are helping others. Because when they help others, you may be able to help out the other people that they mentee at some point. You may surpass the master, so to speak, or you may get to a level where you're able to help other people. Another big thing is don't seek validation in this field. Seek education. Seek to educate yourself and others. Don't pen test just to say, I validate myself as a hacker. No, you're going to turn into that non-humble jerk. Always seek to be educated and educate yourself. That's a big thing. And then none of this can be possible without leaving fear in the rearview mirror. If you are scared to do any of this and anything else within this this talk today, you're not going to be. It's going to make you fall short, and it's going to have a snowball effect where you won't be able to probably achieve the things that you desire. So you just have to leave fear in the rearview mirror and not care about the risk, right? I'm not saying like go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt to buy certs and education, but do set realistic goals for yourself that you can achieve, and don't worry about you know, the trivial risk that comes with that. So be humble, not a megalomaniac. I tied in a Twitter post that I put out not too long ago. It says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but offensive security doesn't make you better than anyone. Last I checked, megalomania is not a must-have on job applications. For those of us that work in the field, we know this very well, where we see a lot of individuals who think because they're a hacker and they know how to break a certain type of technology that all of a sudden they have this superior than thou godlike complex. Don't do it. You know, your technical skills are not too much powerful. right? Your job is to help people and make organizations better, because it's one common goal to make organizations better and eliminate any kind of threat, right? So be humble, not a megalomaniac. So be curious. Don't ditch the bucket list, but do ditch the bucket list. Don't ditch the bucket list. When I think about it, as like something you want to do before you die, right? Don't think about the end. Just think about how you're going to continuously grow, right? And be curious. So always look at things from a different perspective. Be hungry to learn new things. Be willing to dive into anything and tinker with anything. You have to be kind of like a yes person. You have to be able to just dive into anything and take it on, right? And that also feeds into staying out of your comfort zone. You have to do that. I don't know any penetration tester that hasn't had to maintain some type of level outside of their comfort zone for quite a while, because you're constantly learning new things. So you have to, if you want to get into this field, why not start prepping yourself up, right? Try to understand different technology, because being a pen tester is about being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You might master something. However, if you master it today, it might change tomorrow. So do you really master it? Debatable, right? It's up for argument. Looking at the Discord chat really quick. Oh, there's a lot. You guys are chatting it up, man. So growing your network. This is probably one of the most crucial things, in my opinion. And why? Because there's a saying that, you know, getting into InfoSec is sometimes not about what you know, but who you know, right? So growing your network. How can we grow our network? Well, for us that are going to school or work for a school, rather, whatever way it is, or if you do both, use the school network. Typically alumni are working in the field or may not be working in the field, but if they are working in the field, use the alumni networks to get into the field. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my favorite place on the internet. It's a great place to collaborate, to reach out and illustrate your skills. I see a lot of individuals on there right now. They're doing like try hack me challenges and getting certs, and they're publicizing it all over the place. And that helps you get visibility, because somebody will like it, and then that gets displayed on somebody else's feed, and somebody might share it, and then that gets displayed on somebody else's feed. So just keep grinding and posting things on LinkedIn, and it's going to help you find a spot. And you can network with people fairly easily, right? You just send them a friend request, you know, just go find the CEOs of all the big tech companies. Just kidding. Twitter is another good place. Twitter, I like to think about as like the common ground between LinkedIn and Facebook. It's where you link with other professionals, but you don't have to be so professional. So that's a good place to look, because there's an InfoSec Twitter that is wonderful. There's lots of resources always being posted out, lots of information, a great place to learn and just to network in a less professional, more lackadaisic environment, so to speak, online. Facebook is an interesting place, because you never know, that person that you knew 5 years ago might actually work in the field. And so hit them up. Mentoring. You need to find people that can mentor you, and also find people below you that you can mentor, right? It's kind of a roundabout way, but you're able to share knowledge from who you are a mentee of and mentor other mentees. And it creates this kind of like telephone effect. But what happens is you think it, you speak it, and then you hear somebody else comprehend it, and it helps solidify that knowledge in you even more. And it helps, you know, you never know, a mentee of yours might actually get into the field because of their network, and they can say, oh yeah, hey, come on over, you know, we got a spot to fill over here. Conventions such as today with B-Sides Denver, again, thank you for having me, is another great place to network, right? For those of you in the Discord chat or on the Twitch stream, you guys can sit there and hit each other up and banter and talk about anything you want, and you never know, you might make an actual really good relationship out of that. And that might be the key to your success to getting into information security or finding that new role in offensive security. Internships are another good thing. I know they didn't really happen this past summer because of COVID. So, you know, that's the exception, not the rule, but internships are really good to do. And you don't necessarily need to be in school to do an internship. Don't ever think that. Internships are not exclusively to just students. And then on the job training. You know, go find a company that might be looking for free help, or any kind of help that will lead you into information security or penetration testing. I did that. I actually was a security guard at one point and then went and worked in the SOC because I wanted to get into IT that bad. So I did a lot of free labor working in the SOC. Fun fact. So just, that's again, it's about being just tinkering and saying yes to a lot of things and staying out of your comfort zone. Growing your technical skills. John, how do we grow our technical skills? Well, there's lots of ways. Thankfully, in this day and age, there's a lot. Even when I started in offensive security like 5 years ago, there was nothing. You go download a virtual image of Kali Linux, and then you try to find other things to tinker around with. Now they have, things like this, like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, VulnHub. These organizations are creating platforms where you can learn in a fun and encouraging environment, to be honest. I really like Hack the Box because it's competitive, and I really like Try Hack Me for the fact that it's very student-centric, where it's more about learning. And then VulnHub is obviously where you can go grab images, install it on your machine, and go hack away in a safe sandbox environment within your own home. The other great thing about VulnHub is that they recently made a partnership with Offensive Security. So if you're looking to do the OSCP, I would look at VulnHub images in the future for extra study material. Books, obvious one, right? And I can't recommend a book because there's so many. I do have a book coming out in the next couple months with PAC about AWS pen testing. So if you're interested in learning cloud pen testing, pick it up. HackerOne and BugCrowd, what are these? These are bug bounty platforms. These are where you can sign up, create an account, and then actually go hack real websites. I love these because they actually have you hack production websites and provide vulnerability reports on what you find. And then if you find something, it actually goes into your account. You actually can have a hacker badge that you can display on LinkedIn or Twitter and use that as a way to publicize yourself. Programming, I can't recommend a language necessarily, but I am biased towards like Python and Ruby just because I'm not a programmer, but I do know enough Python and Ruby to do enough for my job as a penetration tester. So if you're looking at that, I would highly recommend diving into one of those two languages. Probably Python is the more popular one. So yeah, so look at those, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then Cobalt.io and Synac, these are two platforms that are actually pen testing services, right? It's kind of like a pen test as a service where you can go and do, you submit an application, and then they run you through a couple interviews that are technical and non-technical, and then they put you on their teams, and they basically send you pen tests that you can do and make money. So, and you actually are pen testing real companies. So it's a pretty cool way to do like crowdsourced pen testing. I really, really like it. I wish I had the time, because if I had the time, as I really don't right now, I would do it. But if you're looking to get in the field and get your hands dirty, that's a great way to do something. For those of you that were in the Discord chat, I did mention some Elearn Security stuff. So INE and Elearn Security have made a partnership where they're actually creating a training platform that allows you to take all the Elearn Security courses on this one central platform at one central price. The reason why I put this here is because their training platforms are amazing. Their training courses are amazing. They have amazing certifications that are going to give you 100% hands-on knowledge in a specific topic. So if you want to learn something in an academic and in a realistic sense, these are your guys to go to. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask Lily in the Discord. She can tell you all about that. So speed bumps. Speed bumps are another big thing. Lacking experience, security, programming, technical stuff. It's a conundrum, right? How do you get experience in the field without being in the field? Well, that's where you have to use your network, and you have to use all these other resources that we talked about, those bug bounty platforms, creating a blog, a technical blog, that's going to help you out, right? Getting certifications, those are going to help illustrate your security experience and your technical experience. So you just really have to climb the ladder in that sense. And you also need to utilize your network, right? And I know I didn't put it there, but utilize your network. Again, utilize it, the network. Lacking certs, start with the easy ones. I know a lot of individuals that when they come into this field, they just want to go grab OSCP. And while that's great, you can do it. Why not get an easier cert that's going to help you get a job, right? Especially if you're on the outside looking in You're like, okay, you do a LinkedIn search for penetration testing jobs or security jobs, and you're like, okay, I need at least this cert. Go for that cert that you at least need, not the big one, the one that you need at least. Certifications like CEH, which we'll talk about in a minute, are not extremely difficult, but they are compliance-based certifications. So if you get CEH, you can actually start going and doing compliance-based pen testing. I actually did that, and I got a job as a red teamer for the DoD. So, and I didn't have OCP at that time. Lack of job openings. You know, Denver, I mean, I know this is virtual, but Denver is actually a hotbed for security. So if you're in Denver and watching this, you're good. If you're in Seattle and you're watching this, you're good. Seattle's a pretty hotbed for pen testing and security as well. However, I'm actually from a smaller town in North Carolina, and I don't really think there's any pen testing jobs there. So if I had stayed there, I wouldn't have made it into the field, right? So I had to move. So follow the jobs. If you're in an area where you know you can't get a job, you got to go where the jobs are. And luckily, a lot of them are remote now. But you know, if that's not the case, you might have to move. And you know, just got to do it. Lack of motivation. That's going to be a big speed bump because you're going to burn out. Because you're going to set expectations for yourself, and you're going to not hit them sometimes, and you're going to burn out. So make sure when you burn out, you take a break, because field's not going anywhere, right? Enjoy the little things. And you know, I'm sure, you know, if some of my family is watching this, they're sitting there laughing because I don't take breaks really. So maybe I should eat my own words. But make sure that you take breaks and that you enjoy the little things in life from the fruits of your labor for trying to get into the field or getting into the field. Somebody called me a cheater. Funny. All right. So career paths, right? These are the various things that we can do to get into InfoSec, right? We can take these various jobs, help desk, sysadmin, net admin, various security specialists, right? You can see there's a lot there. You can be an independent researcher or a bug bounty hunter, signing up for programs like BugCrowd and HackerOne, or just be a programmer. A lot of individuals go and get you know, a 4-year computer science degree or go to a coding boot camp and go be software engineers for a little bit, and then they come into the field. There's really not a strict way to get into this field. It's just about, you know, what can you bring to the table that's different, right? And so these are various career fields that you can go into, jobs that you can go into to get yourself into InfoSec. Of course, security specialist, you're going to be in information security, so that's more directed if you want to become a pen tester. But these are just different avenues that you can take. I've taken a couple of them. I started as a help desk guy, and then I was a security specialist, engineer, worked in vulnerability management for a while, and now I'm here. Knew someone who got into security by starting as a pastor. Gonna have to talk about that afterwards. That's interesting. Pen testing careers. You can be a pen tester, red teamer, offensive security engineer, applications security engineer, ethical hacker, which actually is still a job title in some places, exploit developer, consultant, or purple teamer. Purple teamer is becoming a hot topic because it's the in-between of a blue team and a red team, right? So you actually kind of like do a little bit of both, and you oversee red team and blue team operations. And then, so the rest of these exploit developers, you're actually developing exploits for the things that you're hacking. Red teamers are the offensive operators, offensive security engineer. You get it. We have a lot of slides, so I have to cruise through some of this so that I don't take up too much time. So education, these are some degrees that you can get: CompTIA, cybersecurity, even an MBA. I know plenty of people in this field that have an MBA. Because you understand the business sense of things, and it really helps out. So, bachelor's degree, typically required. Master's degree, typically desired. Stay in school if you want to stay competitive, right? And I know there might be some people on the other side looking at me and being like, John, you don't need a degree. You don't. But it is nice to have a degree and make you competitive, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So, and coming from someone who has a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and getting a terminal degree, I mean, it's helped. Those have helped me out a lot in both, you know, growing my career and, you know, for monetary gain, essentially. I mean, you get paid, typically you get paid more if you have a degree. It's not always the case, but it's a lot of times it's the case, so don't quote me on that. But, and you also learn things from a different sense if you do the academic model as well, right? There's things in degrees that certifications can't offer you. So here's the big one. We got certification. So here's some certs that we're going to talk about. So CompTIA Sec Plus. This is a good cert to get because it's going to give you a foundational knowledge and certify you in that knowledge. It's $350 for a voucher. We'll say $200 for extra material, and you're going to have to study for about 1 to 3 months. 1 to 3 months of 2 hours a day, about 5 days a week. And anytime I say consistent study, if I don't say an extra amount of time, just say think it's about 2 hours a day for 5 days a week at least. The exam is 90 questions maximum. You can get less. I think when I took it a while back, but a long time ago. I think I got like 55 questions, but you have 90 minutes to do it. And you have to get a 750 to pass, which I believe is like a 83%. Passing without industry experience, because I want to make sure that for those of you trying to get into the field, understand the difficulty. It's not too challenging if you study properly. Again, using the methods that I just mentioned, you should be able to pass it on your first time. So the average cost per month, $160, because we want to make sure that we're not going into crazy debt, right? And if you look at it on a month scale, it's about $160 a month. The controversy cert of the decade, controversial cert of the decade, the ethical hackers. It is a $1,200 voucher with about $200 in extra materials, so you're going to spend about $1,400 total. It's a good cert to get because, like I said, you can get it and then you're ready to do compliance-based pen testing. It's about 1 to 3 months of consistent studying, 125 questions, 4 hours, and you have to get between a 60 to 85% to pass. So how difficult is this to get without any industry experience? It can be challenging, but EC Council has a $2,000 course that you can use to prep you up. That might make it less challenging, but it's $2,000. So the average cost per month without that $2,000 class is about $450 a month. So 3 months at about 160, and then plus this, and you get it. And we'll have a breakdown here in a second of everything. The Elearn Junior penetration tester. This is without a doubt the best valued penetration testing cert you're going to get. Talk to Lily about it because it's amazing. The cost is $200 for a voucher. However, you can spend $500, get 4 exam vouchers, labs, materials, the whole shebang that all you need to do it. 1 to 3 months of consistent studying. The exam, awesome enough, is a 3-day real life penetration test. It's awesome, right? Because it's hands-on. So you're actually going to learn the techniques, tactics, and procedures that you have to do in order to pen test. So that's sorry, I was getting pinged in Discord. So that's what you get from it. Passing without industry experience, less challenging with proper study. But why do I say that? Because you think, well, it's a hands-on cert. It's because Elearn Security really preps you to take the exam. They give you everything that you need, and that's it. You don't have to go digging for extra information if you don't want to. They give you everything to your path to success to pass the certification. So I highly recommend this cert, no matter where you are in your career, because it's just an amazing cert. The CompTIA PIN Test Plus. This is a very difficult cert, in my opinion. The voucher is $350. You're going to spend about $300 extra on materials, 3 to 4 months of consistent studying, because this is actually going to challenge you. It's going to give you test questions that are based on scenarios, so you really have to know things from a different angle. The exam is 165 minutes with a maximum of 85 questions. You can have less, and you have to get a 750 to pass. That's about an 83%. Very challenging without industry experience. I had industry experience when I took this, and I found it challenging. As humble as that is to say, it was an actually challenging exam. I honestly didn't think I passed when I took it, but I did, barely, humbly enough. But somebody asked what made it challenging. There's a lot of scenario questions in it, a lot of scenario-based questions that if you didn't work in the field, it would be very, very difficult to answer them correctly. Very difficult. And I know like the Cyber Mentor, Heath Adams has talked about and mentioned, like, it's a difficult one because of the scenario-based questions. And it's not like SAN certs or like, these ELearn certs where you have, open books or internets or the internet or anything. You go in closed book and that's it. $650 for 4 months, so not bad. We're not doing too bad on price. The Certified Penetration Testing Professional, this is a $1,600 cert that you get materials, labs, all that good stuff. It's 2 to 4 months of consistent studying. Would argue that you're probably going to need to do about 3 to 4 hours a day. It's a 7-day hands-on penetration test with an additional 7 days of report writing. It's a real-world black box pen test. So for those of you looking to get into the field, if you get this cert, it says, hey, I know actually how to do this in a real-world sense. Not like a CTF, like a real-world sense. Passing without industry experience, it's going to be challenging. And like I said, $1,600, so you're looking at about $400 a month. Then we have the creme de la creme, the Offensive Security Certified Professional. You're going to spend about, I would say, probably about $1,500 on materials, labs, vouchers, all that good stuff for this. You're going to spend about 6 to 12 months to take this. If you do it in less, awesome on you. But it's a difficult exam. You got to use Hack the Box, try Hack the Phone Hub for extra study materials, just so you can understand things at a different level. The exam is 48 hours. You got 24 hours of a hands-on experience that will just condition you and break you. It's a CTF-like challenge, but it is not easy by any means. And then you have a 24-hour span to write a report that you then submit. You have 5 machines that vary in difficulty, and you have to get a 70% to pass. And then passing without industry experience, it's really difficult. And then I wanted to give this. So for those of you looking at the OSCP, it's a different type of certification. As opposed to ELearn, I love ELearn Security because they really teach you the techniques, tactics, and procedures on how to do things. Offensive Security is more like a grueling experience. It conditions you into an offensive security engineer, right? So the training platform with ELearn is a good way to build up technical chops. Offensive Security is just a mind boggle that grinds you and pumps you out as a different breed of security engineer. I also would like to shout out to one of my buddies who works with me, Glenn Moran, who actually got his pass on the certification today. So congratulations to him. So try harder isn't just a creed, it's a way of life, it's transformative, and that's 100% true. That was my buddy Chris who said that. He mentioned that to me on my first time when I took this exam and failed it. The OCP is a process unlike any other certification out there. It's going to condition you and prepare you to think like an offensive security engineer. And it's really going to push your limits and push you out of your comfort zone. So the real cost of this is priceless. The entire journey is priceless. Of course, there's a monetary value to it, but once you're done, it's relieving and it's amazing. So the roadmap, this is the cost analysis I wanted to mention. So first year, second year, right? We're looking at a total of $2,400 on the first year, $3,700 on the second year. We are running short on time, so I'm going to kind of like glimpse past this a little bit. I will publish the slides in Discord when we're all done, so that way you can use these for later. And then the talk will also be published later on YouTube. So. But look at this, know that that's about the money that you're going to be spending. And it's only about, what, $6,500, give or take? That's really cheap for a bunch of certifications that are going to really push your career and get you a 6-figure income if that's what, part of the game, right? Because we all want to make sure we get a return on our investment. And a lot of times it's monetary values, right? So degrees versus certifications, that's a big thing. Degrees help build your network because of the alumni groups that you become a part of. They teach you business processes, you understand people, influence, culture. MBAs are going to really help you do that. PhDs are really going to help you do that. They keep you accountable. You have to turn in assignments, right? Otherwise you fail. And some provide you with high-level technical skills. Even technical PhDs are doing a thing now, right? The PhD that I'm doing is highly technical. Certifications provide accredited proof of knowledge, right? So that means that you are accredited and certified by a governing body that you're able to understand this, right? Provide technical skill sets, right? The EJPT, Pentest Plus, ECPPT, and the OSCP. And then some required for DoD or compliance. Those are the certs that you can get to help get you a job. Security Plus, CH, and OSCP. Obviously, OSCP is the big one, so maybe not go after that one first. And then jobs often require them because of HR filters. I saw somebody post on Twitter yesterday that they have OSCP, but they couldn't get a job as a penetration tester because they didn't have CH. That's the kind of silliness that we see with HR filters. So you kind of have to play the game. We don't make the game, we just play it, right? So we have to kind of go and roll with the punches of the industry. The other big question is, why not just do both? Degrees provide your career to excel, and certifications provide your technical skills to excel. So why not both? Do it all. You got plenty of time. Programming, Python, Bash, Ruby, C, and Java. So Python, Bash, and Ruby are good for scripting. I've really been getting big into Ruby lately because I'm trying to develop AWS Metasploit modules. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. So if you are interested in developing Metasploit modules, look at Ruby. Bash and Python are just really good scripting languages. Python, you're going to learn, you can use that to write exploits and things like that. And yes, I did mean Excel. Sorry, typos. Dang, PhD candidate can't even type or spell correctly. C and Java, those are what a lot of exploits are written in. So for those of you that go through like the OSCP and stuff too, you're going to see a lot of exploits written in C and Java. Other knowledge, you're going to want to know, obviously, the domains of Windows, Linux, networking, and software. Cloud is a big topic right now, and if you learn that, you're going to be able to be competitive. Highly recommend going into cloud if you can, because it's just a new technology, and it's going to become more than just like deploying EC2 instances. Like there's cloud business intelligence platforms. There's a lot of different things that cloud, I feel like everything is being directed to the cloud in the next 10 years or so. And on-prem stuff, while it will still be there, will almost start to become an afterthought. So here's those high-level roadmaps. What's up? So 6 months to 2 years at a help desk position. This is the help desk, the pen test track, by the way. While you're in that position, why not get Security Plus, right? And in 6 months to 2 years, I guarantee you'll get into like some kind of sysadmin, net admin, maybe even some kind of security engineering position. Once you're at level 2, where you see right there under sysadmin, start getting some other certs like CAH, Pentest Plus, EJPT to start propelling your career into security. And then go get a security engineer position. Remember too, while we're doing all this, besides the certifications, you can also get a degree and utilize your network. That's, you know, rule numero uno, utilize your network. And so while you're a security engineer, get ECPPT by Elearn Security or OSCP or both. And then once you have those certs, you can get into red teaming and pen testing. While, you know, they're not required to do it, it is always pretty good. And this is a pretty common path that people go on. And then obviously after that, you can go into management, become a director, you know, maybe even become an executive, a CISO, CISO. You know, it's the world is yours, you know, so says Tony Montana. So, you know, just use this as a template and, you know, feed in your own data into it and know that, you know, you can go from a help desk to becoming a pen tester within less of 2 years. And it's pretty common for that to happen. So this is the student to pen test track. This is another one that I see where students become pen testers. You know, you go through your fall, spring internship stuff. While you're doing an internship, get a cert. I see a lot of interns just work and then that's it. And that's great, but why not get a cert while you're doing it? You might even be able to get your company to pay for it. Degree programs, you see the list there, CompTIA, cybersecurity, information technology and informatics. Once you get out of school, you know, look at an entry-level position, whatever job that is, it doesn't matter, whether it's in security or it's not in security, right? Take an entry-level tech position or a level 1, and then stay in that role for, you know, 6 months to a couple of years to get comfortable with the industry. And then boom, find your mark and get into pen testing. Also get some of those certs that we mentioned, you know, on this slide. All right, staying curious and giving back. It's a big thing, big community. We're big on community in this industry. So make sure that you give back on various hacking forums, different blogs. Then also subscribe to those hacking platforms that we talked about. Those are going to help build your technical skills, and you're going to meet a lot of new people. And find your niche. You know, I only listed a few here, but there's so many things that you can do in this career field. So, you know, just make sure that you keep your hands dirty and you stay active. Make sure you find a mentor. Make sure you're finding other student pen testers. And then also make sure that you're finding people that you can teach. And then also make sure that you're getting on those bug bounty platforms, because those are going to help. So here's a question that somebody wanted answered. So how to get into pen testing with certs, but no experience, right? Because we hear a lot about that. I hear a lot. Sign up for bug bounty programs, do crowdsourced pen testing platforms such as Cobalt.io and Synac. Find those internships, use your network. And big thing is be humble. You know, don't just think because you have a security certification, or even if you have OSCP, that you're all of a sudden some big hotshot guru pen tester. You know, you have to be humble, otherwise nobody's going to want to work with you, as harsh as that may sound. And then take security related roles with a company where you want your pen testing career to go. So if you want to go work for a big tech company, maybe, and you can't get a pen testing job, think about just, you know, going and working for them in a typical security position. It looks like we're about 5 minutes to my time, so, which is good because we're closing up. So closing thoughts. As you go on your journey into InfoSec, pen testing, whatever it is that you decide to do with your life, you're going to start and you're going to have a lot of ambition. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be so hungry. And then you're going to fail. You're going to hit a ditch. You're going to hit a wall. But make sure when you do that you get back up. Or if you fall, make sure that you make a fall forward. That way when you get up, you at least have a little bit of forward progress, right? And when you fail, be humble and think about why you failed. What did you do wrong? And from there, you're going to learn. You're going to learn what you did wrong, and you're going to be able to use it as a learning experience, a lesson learned, and be able to grow from that. Because security is a journey, and it's not a destination. And with that is my talk today. Here are some places where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at MooseyMoose. I'm on LinkedIn under John Helmus. I also have a blog on Medium under Jonathan C. Helmus. And then upcoming events, I'm actually doing a 4-hour AWS pen testing workshop at ShellCon. Unfortunately, it's sold out. It's sold out within about 5 days, so those tickets are gone. However, I'm going to be talking at VetSecCon on October 16th at 10:30 a.m. That's Pacific time. I'm going to be doing a talk similar to this, but it's geared towards veterans. So if you know any veterans that are trying to get into cybersecurity and more exclusively into pen testing, please direct them to that talk, direct them to me. Be glad to help them out. I'm also talking at Grey Hat this year at the end of October. I don't have a set date, but my talk is it's about bypassing AWS policies through pen testing. And then also, last but not least, I have a book release. I have my book published by PAC. It's called AWS Pen Testing, and that's going to be coming out sometime in the fall. So follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter, and you'll make sure that it gets published out when it comes out. So with that, we got Q&A. So Q&A on the Twitch or on the Discord. I'm at your questions for the next 3 minutes. Can we pre-order the book? Let me talk to the publisher about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead and watch the Discord, but answer the questions on the stream for people who are not on the Discord.
Okay, so on the Twitch stream.
Please read the questions before you answer.
Oh, go ahead. Is it anybody else? Sorry. It doesn't look like there's anything on the Twitch stream. Somebody said 20 or 24,000. Maybe I made a wrong number. It's kind of funny. So before I publish the slide deck out to everyone, I'll make sure to do a good thorough cleansing of grammar in it. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, it doesn't look like there's anything on the Twitch channel. But I'm going to be hanging out in the Discord channel for the next 20, 30 minutes. So if you guys want to hang out and talk to me, I'll be in there. And yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, John. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.